For indoor or party scenes, you want to look at what you're taking a picture of and think about how you want the picture to come out. Meaning, do you want to use the flash or do you want to avoid using the flash to allow things like the candle lights on a birthday cake to really come through? So if you are using the flash, go ahead and press the flash button here. Remember, we're using the program mode on your mode dial. This will allow you to set the ISO and the white balance, while the camera sets the proper shutter speed and aperture for a well-exposed picture. I'm assuming there isn't a whole lot of light, so you may want to increase the ISO. Remember that even if you are using the flash, it's really only good for about 15 feet. So if you're taking a picture, let's say, of a long table with a lot of people sitting down, you don't want the ISO at 100 using the flash because everybody in the foreground will be well lit, but everybody in the background will be very, very dark. You want everything properly balanced. So to do that, press the ISO button here in the front with your index finger and go down to choose a higher ISO. Go ahead and press set. Now with 400, I'm allowing the camera to be more sensitive to the areas of the picture where the flash doesn't reach, and the flash will still hit the people in the front. If you want a completely natural, no flash looking image, very simple, just close the flash and you're basically dependent on ISO. Now remember, people are moving, you may not have a tripod with you, so you want to maintain a shutter speed faster than 1/60th of a second. So press the shutter button halfway. Just go ahead and point the camera in the general direction of the picture. If your shutter speed is faster than 1/60th of a second, as is mine, then you should be fine. You can handhold that without a problem. If it's not, then you're going to want to increase the ISO. Again, if you are taking a picture of a long table with a lot of people, you want everybody to be in focus, so you also have to take the aperture into consideration. Right now mine is set to f8, and that should be really fine. If yours is set to something much larger than that, like f5.6, you don't really have to do much. All you need to do is release the shutter button and move the dial. So if I move the dial, while these figures are still on the screen, I can change those values. Both will change simultaneously, maintaining a well-exposed image. So I want to choose my aperture at f11. You can do all this while you're still looking through the viewfinder. You don't need to use the screen. You'll see these figures at the bottom in green. Press the shutter button halfway. Now that my aperture is properly set, my shutter speed is still over 1/60th of a second, so I know I'm okay with ISO 400. Make sure your white balance is properly set. We're not using the flash, so you need to set your white balance to the lighting source inside. I'll just press the WB button and move over to tungsten. Press set. Press the shutter button again. You'll notice that my aperture went back to f9, so I'll just move the dial. f10 is fine. I can also go with f13 because the shutter speed is still above 1/60th of a second, and now I'm ready to take my picture. Remember, our focusing point is right in the middle, so put that center dot over your subject. If it is a long table full of people, then you want to focus somewhere in the center. Press the shutter button halfway. The focusing point in the center will blink red, indicating that it has locked focus, and then just go ahead and press the shutter button the rest of the way to take the picture. To find out much more about digital photography and your digital camera, go to lbguides.com.